All right, here's the second video for your pre-algebra review. In this video, I'm going to cover what does it mean to square a number, and also the difference between simplifying something that looks like this versus this. When we're squaring numbers, specifically negative numbers, how does adding in the parentheses change how we interpret that expression? And then finally, what does it mean to take the square root of a number and how we simplify expressions that have square roots in them? All right, so our first topic is what does it mean to square a number? When we square a number, that means we're raising it to the second power. So for example, if we have 7 squared, that means we're taking 7 and multiplying it by itself. 7 squared means we're taking 7 and raising it to the second power. When we raise numbers to a power, that power is telling us how many times we are multiplying the number by itself. So 7 squared is equal to 7 times 7, and that would equal 49. So once again, to square a number means we are raising it to the second power, which means we are multiplying it by itself. Now, there's a special case I want to take a look at with you, and that is the second topic that I said we talk about in this video. What is the difference when we square negative numbers with parentheses and without parentheses? So we're going to take a look at this example. What is the difference between -3 squared without parentheses versus -3 squared with the parentheses? Remember 2 things here. Parentheses are a grouping symbol, which means whatever inside the parentheses has to stay together. And the other thing I want you to remember is that exponents only see what they are directly attached to. So in this first problem, there are no parentheses, and the exponent of 2 only sees what it is directly attached to, which is the 3. This 2 does not see the negative sign. Only the 3 is being squared. So the way we handle this is we need to square the 3, which means we need to multiply 3 times itself. 3 times 3, that's what it means to square a number. And the negative sign is attached on after we get that result. 3 times 3 is 9. And then we're supposed to take the opposite of that or make it negative. So our answer here would be a -9. Now in the second situation, because the parentheses are there, keeping the negative and the 3 together, that exponent of 2 sees both of them. It sees the negative sign and it sees the 3. And so what's happening here is we are squaring both the negative sign and the 3. This means we're supposed to take a -3 and multiply it by itself. Now we have a case where we're taking a negative times a negative, and we're getting a +9 for our answer, for our result. So it's important to remember that difference when we're squaring a negative with the parentheses and without. With the parentheses, the power is seeing both the negative sign and the number. Without the parentheses, the power is only seeing the number and the negative sign is added in at the end. The last topic I wanted to talk about in this video is what does it mean to square root a number? So let's take a look at an example here. What if we are asked to find the square root of 25? Taking the square root of a number and squaring a number are inverse operations. That means they accomplish the opposite of each other. Just like adding and subtracting are inverse operations. They accomplish the opposite of each other. Adding 5 is the opposite of subtracting 5. Multiplication and division are also inverse operations. Multiplying by 2 is the inverse or the opposite of dividing by 2. So I want you to think of square rooting a number and squaring a number in the same way. They are opposites of each other. So when we are looking to find the answer to the square root of 25, what we're really asking ourselves is, what number was it that I squared to get 25 in the first place? We can think of this backwards or in reverse in terms of squaring a number. So if I think about that, what number would it be that I would square to get 25? Well, that's 5, because 5 times 5 is equal to 25. So back to our original question of what is the square root of 25? It's 5, because 5 is the number I would square to get to 25 in the first place. Let's take a look at this in another example. What if I'm asked to find the square root of a negative 9? What would that look like? Well, again, square rooting a number is the opposite of squaring it. So if I'm trying to find what the square root of a negative 9 is, what I'm asking myself is, what number did I square to get negative 9 in the first place? Well, is there a number that I can multiply by itself to get a negative 9? And the answer is no, because I will never be able to multiply a number by itself and end up negative. In order to achieve a negative result through multiplication, I need one number to be positive and the other to be negative. And that goes against the whole idea of what it means to square something, to multiply it exactly by itself. So there is no solution to this problem. This can't be simplified. And so I brought this example up because I want you to see that if you're ever trying to take the square root of a negative number, it won't work. We can only take the square root of positive numbers in our real number system. Now, if we are trying to simplify an expression that has square roots in it, how do we do that? For example, how would I simplify 12 minus the square root of 28 plus 8? Well, when I see a square root symbol in an expression, I need to think about that square root in terms of being a grouping symbol. Just like parentheses are a grouping symbol or absolute value is a grouping symbol, whatever underneath the square root symbol is grouped together. So we have to treat it just like we would treat parentheses in an expression that we are evaluating. We need to simplify what's underneath that square root first and evaluate the square root first before we can do anything else in the expression. The other thing I want you to remember is that just like an absolute value bar is stronger than a parenthesis, so is a square root symbol. And I bring that up because we can't distribute things outside of the square root into the square root. We have to evaluate it first and then combine with anything outside. So here's what that looks like. I have to first figure out what 28 plus 8 is. Then I will apply the square root symbol to it, and then we will combine with the 12 and the minus sign. Okay, so 28 plus 8 is 36. I'm going to write down what I'm not taking care of yet. I'm not doing anything with the 12 or the minus sign. I just figured out that 28 plus 8 is 36. Now I'm going to evaluate what the square root of 36 is. So again, I'm not doing anything with the 12 or the minus sign. The square root of 36 is 6, because 6 times 6 would bring me back to 36. And 12 minus 6 is 6. Here's one more example to close out the video. we are going to simplify the expression 5 squared minus 2 times the square root of 64. And we are going to use order of operations to help us simplify this expression. Order of operations has us simplifying anything inside of a parenthesis or a grouping symbol first. Typically, we don't talk about order of operations in terms of grouping symbols. Some teachers do like to call it GEMDIS instead of PEMDIS for this reason. And absolute value and square roots are a grouping symbol. So we're going to simplify those first before we move on to the rest of order of operations, which is exponents, and then multiplication and division from left to right, and addition and subtraction from left to right. And I go through some examples of how to use order of operations to simplify expressions in the other pre-algebra review video that I made for you. So getting started, if I'm taking care of parentheses or grouping symbols first, that means I'm going to simplify the absolute value of 64 first before I do anything else. To show my work, I'm going to write down everything that I'm not dealing with yet, and then simplify what I am taking care of right now. So I'm not doing anything with the 5 squared. I'm just going to write that down. Minus 2 times what the square root of 64 is, which is 8. 8 times 8 would bring me to 64. So the square root of 64 is 8. I'm going to move on to exponents, which I have right here. So I'm going to simplify the 5 squared, which is 25. And I'm going to rewrite the minus 2 times 8 because I'm not doing anything with that yet. Next on the list is multiplication and division. I have some multiplication right here, so I'm going to simplify that next. I'll rewrite the 25 since I'm not working with that right now. And a negative 2 times a positive 8 is a negative 16. And now I can move on to my last step, which is simplifying any addition and subtraction that I have. And 25 minus 16 is 9. So that completes the topics for now for our pre-algebra review. If you have any questions, please feel free to submit one through the Mrs. V I Have a Question Google form, which is in Google Classroom for you under the Class Resources tab. And we can discuss those questions either in class or on one of our virtual Wednesday meetings. All right. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you in class this next week.